Great good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Thursday, October 2nd. I can't even believe it. Year of our Lord, 2025. My Cordaro Jewelers Watch says it's 9:08 and change. Broadcasting today from the United States of America, this is the Bob Cordaro Show, and I am he. The United States of America, the place where the brave, like the veterans, we're going to salute today, thanks to John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Thomas Reese, Springbrook Township. Richard Polak, Clarksville. And Ronald Pickles Grahalski, Nanticoke. The United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our incredible founding fathers that the government is not, shall not be, cannot be our parent, our guide, our salvation, our direction. Not any of these things, but is nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. Freedom couldn't be parceled out to groups. It couldn't be controlled by government or government officials because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press. Now, armed with these freedoms, and only because they had them, as uncomfortable as they could at sometimes be, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show, well, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And with that essential preamble dealt with and dispensed with, we can gavel to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense for this Thursday. Yeah, it's garbage day. The Hill section of Scranton. I put it out. It's gone. My guys took care of business. And I've got my Dunmore DPW shirt on, fluorescent green. Homer gave it to me, and I proudly wear it. It's my fall long sleeve tee. If you're watching on WILKNewsRadio.com and just press watch. And you can see this Dunmore DPW deal and the program as it unfolds. So we are in what, day 2 of the whatever government shutdown? Has it affected you yet? Are you feeling it? Have millions and millions of people died? Now, by the way, it's the Republicans this time who are being a little bit histrionic about what a government shutdown means. I am hoping that it means what Trump says it could mean, which is that they can undertake wholesale layoffs of federal employees. We need that so badly, and Doge was thwarted, and people lost their spine and all of that. Maybe we could shut down the Department of Education. Maybe we could shut down Department of Labor. Nobody even knows what these people do. It's unbelievable. It's really good. And I don't want anybody to lose their job. Yeah, I don't have a big paying job and I can afford to lose it because I could go and maybe get hired by the DPW and make a little bit of more money. But I'd actually have to work then. But, now, as with every political argument, the Republicans have reduced the Democrat position to they want and insist on Medicaid for illegal aliens. That's only part of what they want, but it's certainly a good thing a good narrative for the Republicans. And then the Democrats, the usual thing is people are going to die. Millions will die if Trump gets away with whatever skullduggery he's trying to get away with. Hey, somebody asked, what do you think about the illegal immigrant in Iowa who was superintendent of the Des Moines School District? Yeah, he was also registered to vote since 2012. I know. Again, they say, oh, no, nobody's voting. No illegals are voting. We're going to have Kalen Deese from the Washington Examiner on tomorrow to talk about that situation. It's so absurd. My man Gary D sent me the article by Kalen Deese. Maybe started following him since we've had Kalen on. He's the Justice Department reporter for the Washington Examiner. We're going to have him on Friday to talk about that because I think it's so funny. And it shows the extreme incompetence of the left. A former Obama staffer and acolyte, left-wing lunatic, is the head of that school board that hired him. And she's running for U.S. Senate against Joni Ernst. Crazy. But on a better, interesting point, Jack from Florida, he says, good morning, Bob. October is World Blindness Awareness Month, a time to assess and take measures to reduce vision loss and your text got cut off here. Oh, and better appreciate the efforts of blind independence, which Jack from Florida, originally from here, is the poster child. Nobody knew he was blind because, hey, why tell them? An incredibly successful career as a consultant, and he did it while he could barely see. He is considered legally blind, but he continues in the text. I would like to call on October 15th to share a study I was involved with. Yes, white cane ignorance in America. You make sure you do that. But, yeah, that's great, Jack. I'd like to do that. By the way, it's also, I don't know what they call it. My friend Nikki D sent me on it, but it's Italian American Month or something like that, or Italian Heritage or Culture Month. Of course, Columbus Day upcoming. Oh, and I really wanted to march in the parade on Fifth Avenue this year. And normally Columbus Day is the first Sunday or Monday of October, but I guess this time it's the second, so I'm going to be in Denver. Yeah, Fred Duckman says if government shutdown is so bad, maybe you should play The End of the World by Skeeter Davis from the 60s. I know. It's these people are incredible. Everything that was so, desperately urgent. So desperately urgent. We need this government, Nobody's noticed it yet. I'm sorry. Other than the normal blabber from both sides. But the normal blabber of the Democrats becoming more shrill. Other than that, nobody knows it's even happening. Guess what? My DPW guys are working. I know it. I did not have time. I felt a little bad. I didn't have enough time to take the garbage cans in after they were emptied because I was rushing. Nevertheless, it's garbage day, and I don't know. I love garbage day. I do. It does mean that the week is almost over, which I don't like. I don't like that at all. Time is flying too quickly. Cutie and I were saying that last night. We're watching a show, The House of Guinness, and it kept us up till like 11:30 last night, which is way past my cell date. And so I actually don't feel tired, but I got up much later than normal. Chauncey, much earlier and later. Chauncey got me up at 5 because he wanted to go out. And, it's one of those things. He's a big dog, and if he goes to the bathroom, it's like cleaning up after a Clydesdale. So you can't let him go in the house. So if he gives me the signal that he's got to go out, I get up and take him out no matter what time it is. So, yeah, I was up actually extra early this morning and then tried to lay back down and whatever. But, yeah, it's a good show, House of Guinness. Anybody, by the way, anyone who is of Irish heritage would really, I think, really appreciate this. I know I do. I'm not Irish. But I hung around guys and, my first wife, all that stuff. But Rob O'Donnell reporting through Mr. Paul that Billy Gaughan, this guy is so silly. Can anybody take this Billy Gaughan, the Lackawanna County Commissioner, seriously? Really? He's a joke. The Republican shutdown and the Trump Republican Congress is causing havoc. They just make it up. And millions of people have died, of course. The entire American population, the entire population of the United States has died 3 times over since Donald Trump became president. I don't know what I'm even doing here. You're all dead. Am I even talking to you? These are crazy people. I'm telling you, Billy Gaughan he's mentally ill. I haven't seen any indication that he's normal. None. 0. Same with our horrible mayor, Paige Cognetti. She was on weeks ago on the morning show telling them, and they are credulous, telling them that she's talked to people who have disabled children who've lost benefits. I mean, how do you keep lying like this? They are liars. If you're a left-wing lunatic, which Gaughan and Cognetti are, you have to be a liar and a hypocrite. And you've got to be a little bit mentally imbalanced. You really do. You can't see reality. You can't see truth. You can't see fact. It's a sad way to live, but, maybe 20, even 30% of the country's, but less than that. Because remember, when you get the Democrat voters, there's a big chunk of people, whether they're with nonprofits that are getting grants, foundations, you name it. There's a big chunk of people, or work for the government. They're getting something out of the insanity. So you can't count most of them. Then there are the people who are the leaders who are getting all the benefits and will get more and more power the more and more the government does and the less and less freedom the rest of us have. And they'll be more comfortable because they'll get to tell you what to do. They'll know what you're doing while you're doing it, and then that'll bring them comfort. It'll bring them power, comfort. And so there's only, I don't know, I mean, it depends on the election, obviously. But then there's the other percentage that's willfully blind that just falls along with the insanity. And those are the people I feel sorriest for. I truly do. All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. Somebody says, do you know who's causing havoc? Billy Gaughan. Yeah, he is. But he's insane. You have an insane county commissioner. He's got, I am told he has a no kings sign in his yard when he's trying to run the county by himself when there's supposed to be three commissioners. It's they don't get irony because they've got zero self-awareness. We'll take a break and be back. Elvis. Murph says this date, 1962. He released his hit Return to Sender. And before that, the odious Woodrow Wilson, 1919, suffering a serious stroke at the White House. And his wife was the president, I guess, for almost the balance of, it was like, just like, oh, Lord, we experienced this in real time 100 years later with Joe Biden. My gosh. It's sad. It's really, by the way, my man Mark from Hazelton reminds me, it's Mahatma Gandhi's birthday, October 2nd. And Gandhi says, when I despair, I remember that all through history, the way of truth and love has always won. There have been murderers and tyrants, and for a time they can seem invincible. But in the end, they always fall. Think of it, always. Oh, I hope you are right. Thanks, Mark. Mark from Hazelton. By the way, if anybody has any thoughts on this, I'm up in the air whether to finish with American Pie by Don McLean, because he was born this date, 1945. He's turning 80 today. Or when Joe Cocker was on Saturday Night Live and John Belushi imitated him when he was singing Feeling All Right. One or the other, but we're going to play Cocker for sure. The late, great Joe Cocker, the late, great John Belushi. I did a version of that thing with, it was impromptu, but I did the John Belushi part when Lenny Carlucci was singing Joe Cocker. We were at some bar. Not some bar. We were at, it's called Morgan's now. But it was Cosgrove's then. Peter Cosgrove's place. So, yeah. Joe Cocker. Yeah, we got to finish with American Pie, probably. But if you guys have other thoughts, you let me know. Butch from Mountaintop texting in. He said, just saw videos of some Democrat debate stage, 7 or 8 Democrat candidates. The moderator asked for a show of hands, whose plan will provide health care to undocumented immigrants? Every single one of them raised their hands. Yeah, I know. Butch says, I don't know what was crazier, the fact that they all raised their hands or the fact that the audience began to wildly applaud. Remember who these people are. They're insane. ALTS back at you. Bob, the deep fake, the Trump release, the White House release with Schumer and Jeffries, and Jeffries in the sombrero. You're right. It is, one of our listeners saying it is hilarious. I mean, you want to talk about trolling them. And Hakeem Jeffries is a complete phony, but he might actually have gotten angry over it. So now, here's an African-American, very light-skinned, but an African-American. And Trump puts a sombrero on him and a mustache. Now, I don't know how that's racist, but maybe he's offending our Mexican and our Latino friends. Maybe he's offended that he looks like a Latino. I don't know. Somebody else texting in, greetings and good morning, Bob ALTS. The D-rats are appalled at the government shutdown and laying off workers, but they had no qualms about firing workers for their decision not to take the Chinese virus vaccine. You nailed it. You have to remember, you've got to be a hypocrite, a liar. Oh, I apologize. Morgan's is actually called Benny's now. A great place, yes. My apology. Calling me Mr. I Go Everywhere. Well, I still call them the baseball team the Red Barons. So give me some slack here. The morning show was talking about. I guess there was a survey of kids 6 to 16 or 7 to 16 years old on what signs you're getting old, and I said I've been doing things like playing crossword puzzle or doing crossword puzzles since I'm in my 20s, so I've aged myself, obviously. All right, we need to take a break, though. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll take a break, hear from our great sponsors. We'll come back and do our Veterans Tribute. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by John Basiliga. We're going to feature just one of his great companies today, and that's Basiliga Hospitality. And guess what? They are award-winning. A Terra 519, Best Fine Dining, Best New Local Restaurant, Best Wine Selection, Sergey's Live, Best Nightclub, Best Live Music Venue. Old Brook Inn, Best Outdoor Dining, 2 years in a row. Best Place to Have a First Date, the Old Brook Inn. Stegmeyer Mansion, the Best Reception Hall. Far Street Tavern, Best Bar Food, Best Neighborhood Bar. Queen City Tavern, winner, Best Bar. Scranton Art House, winner, Best Movie Theater. And it's so true. Sergey's, they'll be open tonight. Winner, Best Nightclub, Best Live Music Venue. Thomas Reese. We lost him September 21st at age 92. He lived in Springbrook Township. He was born in Lake Ariel. After high school, Tom served us in the U.S. Army. Before retiring, he was proud to be an over 50-year member of the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 542. Great gang. Tom was a man who found joy in the simple but meaningful parts of life, working the land, providing for his family, and taking pride in a job well done. Old school. His love for dairy farming ran deep. He loved hunting alongside his sons. He had a natural gift for operating heavy machinery. Immense pride in keeping his properties in immaculate condition, reflecting his hard work and respect for the land he proudly called home. He served Springbrook as a township supervisor for 3 terms during a period of growth. Transformation from rural dirt roads to well-paved communities. Survived by his wife, Mary Ann, 3 children, his grandchildren, stepchildren, his grandchild, and tragically preceded in death by his 2 children, Sandra and David Reese, and the mother of his children, Olive Nero. Thomas Reese, our veteran this hour. Storm Tracker 16 forecast. Meteorologist Joe Snedeker today, mostly sunny, 68 degrees. Tonight, clear and chilly, 45. Friday, mostly sunny, 75. Saturday, sunny, 80. Sunday, sunny, 80. So the weather's only getting better. I realized yesterday, Cutie and I took Chauncey for a walk after dark, and it's dark way too early anymore. Anyway, it felt like fall. And I said, fall's my favorite season, but I'm going to really miss the hot weather. Well, it's coming back this weekend. That's a good deal. By the way, if you noticed, we are going to try. I want to do 1 veteran an hour instead of 2 so that they are more fully featured. I was so backed up sadly, with obituaries of veterans that we were doing 2 an hour and sometimes more, but we're going to try to do 1 as long as we can. Murph tells us this date, 1965, the McCoys had the #1 hit with Hang On Sloopy, and my man Fred Duckman pointed out, we must have played this a few months ago, that there was this racy, beautiful girl dancing in sort of a pre-MTV video for this very song. And I guess it caught on YouTube later on. But that's the deal for music this hour. Yeah, people are getting a kick out of it. So one of our great listeners tells me how just thinking, and I agree with you 100%, that Trump is, and he is hilarious. Can't help but, he says, a listener from Waymart, love your show. Every time I see Jeffries on TV, I can't help but laugh seeing him in that sombrero with the mustache. Look at the guy's a joke. He's a fool. He's a liar. He's a lunatic. And he deserves to be mocked. These people deserve to be mocked. These are not serious people. These are fools. And they will proclaim a lie as loudly as they'll tell you their tie is blue. Really scary people. Somebody texts in where is it? The Democrats keep bringing up the letters stating people's health insurance is going up drastically. They don't explain that it's because these people no longer qualify for subsidies. The Democrats removed the cap in 2021 and it extended until 2025 because of COVID. Now the caps for subsidies are going back to where they originally were. And the letters are showing the price increase without the subsidies. The morning show keeps stating it's because the Republicans, where does this continue? Anyway, it's the Republicans' fault. It's false. Leary, how long do you have to do the COVID giveaways? See, the Democrats knew they could take advantage of COVID and they could run with the bit. And when time ran out, the Republicans, they'd have a chance to give them the blame. Yeah, somebody said, not somebody, Joe B says from Vanling says, can we put a sombrero and a mustache on little Billy Goyen? Yeah. I think it's time. I hope somebody does that. I think it's beyond my capacity, but I hope somebody does it. Goyen, he deserves the sombrero and mustache because he's a joke. We'll take a break and be back. Murph tells us Shocking Blue released their hit Venus, this date 1970. By the way, Excavator Guy tells me he forgot to add his name regarding an email he sent from little Billy Gaughan. I mean, he's not small. He's at least 6 feet tall, but he's a child. He's a child. He's a man-child. Gosh, I'm to have him and Paige Cognetti in charge of things at the same time is debilitating for people who live in the city of Scranton. It's unbelievable. By the way, an old friend of mine, Joe Triano, was appointed to the Scranton School Board, and I'll tell you, I think that's a great thing. He's a really solid guy, deep background in education, so that's a good thing. So congratulations to you, Joe, on that. And speaking of something that I picked up from the local rags, but this was a good story, page 3 of the Citizen's Voice. Sergeant First Class Donald Williams. He was a Korean War vet, Purple Heart medalist, and he was honored by Mayor George Brown. About a dozen of his family members attended. And, I'm going to read a little bit more about him later. He's not one of the veterans we're honoring today, but he is somebody I'm going to talk about. Donald Williams from Wilkes-Barre. See, when you try to, and the Republicans are doing this, and I get it, there's two things the Democrats are trying to do. Now, the Obamacare is a failure. Please remember this. It is a complete failure. And the $400 billion of the money the Democrats are asking for is going to go to insurance companies. I talked about this yesterday, thanks to a listener for reminding me. More of it's going to go to illegal aliens. It's just craziness. They'll do anything to not admit that Obamacare was a massive failure. It increased health care costs. And as far as health insurance goes, your deductible has gone up substantially. And your premiums have gone up substantially because of Obamacare. It's a disastrous failure. And they want to cover up. So that people say, well, why are they so crazy about, they're not just wild about health insurance for illegal aliens. They are absolutely devoted to pretending that Obamacare worked. Oh, it's only another $400 billion. My goshes. They won't admit it failed. And they're trying to shore it up. And they would have done it without you even knowing about it. Which doesn't, by the way, count for the raids on Medicaid and Medicare and on veterans programs to pay for illegal aliens. Don't forget about that. Joe from Berwick. How are you, Joe? Joe, do we got you, Joe?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I'm sorry, Bob. I was waiting for you, and I'm driving my tractor across the creek, so I just heard you got me on. I apologize.
Pay attention to the tractor. Don't worry about us.
Well, anyway, what I wanted to call about, Bob, you're right about the Obamacare thing, and Republicans need to make a lot more of that because it's all it's done is it's make everybody's health insurance more unaffordable.
Yeah.
So, but
that's the hidden story. And nobody, by the way, not even conservative pundits are talking about it.
Yeah, no, they're not. And it just basically anybody who pays for their health insurance, like through premiums or co-pays, they know what's gone on. And it's terrible. But one thing I wanted to ask about, Bob, because I rely on you as a reliable source of news. We can't get it anywhere else, really. Um, why am I hearing that the FBI supposedly had something to do with the whole Gretchen Whitmer thing, and that those guys who were prosecuted for wanting to kidnap her? Do you know anything
Yeah, because
about that?
it was proven. An
Well,
FBI
what was
agent,
proven?
an FBI agent
Okay.
embedded himself with these goofy guys. He
Okay.
actually, this is reportage, reliable reportage that I've seen. I don't vouch for it 100%. He
Okay.
actually hatched the plan to kidnap Whitner. And these three dupes went along. And they
Shouldn't
went
they be
along
out of jail
and then he exposed them. But the
Yeah.
plan was the FBI agents. The undercover
Well,
FBI agent came up with the plan. These guys weren't smart enough to do it.
well, shouldn't they be out of prison then? Isn't that called entrapment?
It's beyond entrapment. He
Okay.
created the scheme.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know their exact legal status now, but all of this came out at the time of their trial, and it was
Okay.
embarrassing for the FBI. It's incredible. It's remarkable.
Well, what's embarrassing is they keep
Yep.
coming about saying, "Oh, all this violence from the right." There is no violence from the right. It's either the left or it's the FBI. I mean,
You're the
yeah.
FBI. I know. Yeah, no, I'm happy you brought that up. But listen, we got to go. I appreciate it so much. Thank you, Joe, and we'll talk to you very soon. Because as I look at my Picardo Jewelers watch, it's 10 o'clock and change, which means it's time for the news. So let's do that and go to Picardo's. That's your watch store. We're hoping to have Alex Picardo on today because they've got something going on with Bulova that's a big deal. But we'll talk about that with him probably the bottom of the hour. But for now, let's take a break. Brian Hughes with the news. We'll be back. Yes, it does. Great good morning, everyone. It is 10:08 a.m. on my Picardo Jewelers watch here in the great Northeast this beautiful Thursday, October 2, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values. And with the help of our man, John Basiliga, and one of his great companies, Basiliga Hospitality, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like Thomas Reese, Springbrook Township, Richard Polak, Larksville, Ronald Pickles Grahalski, Nanticoke. Veterans we've lost this year, but honor today thanks to John. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle, reminding you this Bob Cordaro Show, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And yes, the double entendre is intended. So we gavel back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you a sanctuary of sanity in a morass of lunacy, particularly in the Democrat Party and on the left. Scary. Very scary. Well, something is going on we just saw how appropriate. We see PPL looking for a rate increase. It's a little bit higher for commercial than it is for residential. But it works out to somewhere between 5 and 7%, depending on the type of customer you are. And appropriately, a woman by the name of Monica Carey, she is an energy expert. And she says steel and energy are the twin engines of the Pennsylvania economy. Nearly half of America's steel is produced in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Indiana, supporting more than 90,000 jobs and billions in economic output. In Pennsylvania alone, steel remains a cornerstone of the state's future. Monica argues what few realize is that the future of steel is tied directly to the future of American energy. They call steel the unsung hero of the future of electricity, specifically residential solar power. Over 6,000 metric tons of steel are needed for every 100 megawatts of solar. Last year, Pennsylvania installed more than 2,100 megawatts of solar. A thriving solar sector means a thriving steel industry. She points out that Pennsylvania families are being hit with double-digit rate hikes and that our power grid strains under new demand from data centers. And that's a key thing. To me, you can build your data center, but you better have your own energy and your own water. And in Northeast Pennsylvania, by the way, that's easily solvable. But Monica Carey is the state director of SUN. And she's arguing that we need better state-level energy policy to support the steel industry and more. Monica, welcome to the Bob Cordaro Show. How are you?
Hi, great, Bob. Thanks so much for having me on.
All right, tell us your point. Fire away.
Yeah, absolutely. So the real thing about solar is that it is at its core deeply tied to steel. Steel is the framework for solar. It is the support structure. Steel literally holds solar together. And as we put more solar on the grid, which we should do because it's cheap and it's fast to get on the grid, we're actually creating more steel jobs and improving, the economics of American-made steel.
What are the subsidy levels for solar? Can it stand on its own yet?
Yeah, it absolutely can. I mean, we are seeing some subsidies for solar. They're not nearly as much as we see for some other energy sources. So solar costs have come down dramatically just in the last, 10, 15 years. It is incredibly cheap. We see so many people choosing to go solar because it actually means that they get to rely less on their utility. And like, who doesn't want to pay less every month on a utility bill? As you said, PP&L rate hikes are going up. That's not the first time that's happening. I think people just want to save money, and solar actually is a way to make that happen.
Is solar manufactured in the United States, or are we getting most of the components from China?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a mix right now. There's definitely more American-made solar coming online. There are still some components that certain manufacturers get from China, specifically the silicon, but we're definitely seeing a huge boost in American-made solar. So why not pair that with American-made steel? The two should go together.
All right, and how do you see that it could be done? Tell us.
Yeah, so I think what I'm hearing from installers in Pennsylvania, solar installers, is that they are choosing to use American-made steel on their systems. That's, the racking that goes onto your rooftop, but it's also the support structures for ground-mounted systems that might be out in a field. And so they're choosing American-made steel because that's what customers want. That's where the demand is. And so really the installers at large and developers should be choosing American-made steel every single time.
And what would the Commonwealth have to do? Right now, we've got a governor who has a horrendous energy policy, trying to join up with local left-wing governors and regional left-wing governors to reduce power output. How do we get through this? Because you need power to create solar power.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we need is more leadership from our legislators to cut the red tape and actually allow these solar installations to happen at scale. Solar is the cheapest, fastest energy form that we can add to the grid, and there's been such a log jam in the legislature, so we really need them to show some leadership, pass great policies like community energy, and just making sure that solar can be adopted to lower costs meaningfully for the average American homeowner.
And that is possible, you tell us.
It is possible if legislators stop playing political games and remember that their constituents are really hurting right now. It is hard to afford to live. So, lowering energy costs is one meaningful change that can help Pennsylvanians.
And Monica Carey, what specific legislation or initiatives are you talking about that will reduce the cost of solar and energy overall?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's this really exciting policy called community energy. It's very popular. It's a way to subscribe to a local solar installation. You get a credit applied to your electric bill. So every single month you get to save money. So obviously it's very popular. It has a ton of bipartisan support, and it's legal in 23 other states, but not Pennsylvania. So we really need our state legislators to work together and give Pennsylvania another energy choice.
All right, so Monica Carey, what are the chances of that? They can't even pass a budget.
Oh, man, I know. No, I do think this is something that it has been introduced many years in a row, but we're actually seeing more momentum, more support behind it than ever before. I think that we are in a real energy crisis, a real affordability crisis. Legislators are hearing the pain from their constituents. So I do think that if community energy is going to pass, this is the time. And I think that we need to remind them that this is their job. Make life affordable for us.
Residential solar, I like because it's the individual taking the bull by the horns and reducing their own energy costs. And, does anything else have to be done to assist residential solar for the individual?
I mean, there are definitely some improvements more on the local level. You know, sometimes you see the residential systems get caught up in local permitting at the municipal or the utility level. I think a lot of utilities still don't love solar. And so I think getting them out of the way so that homeowners can make that choice and do what's best for their own financial interest.
All right. Well, Monica, thank you very much. Monica Carey, she's a state director of something called SUN, calling for smarter state level energy policy and increased use of solar. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Monica Carey. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. My friend Sal Scramali texted, and he said, and this is something, Murph, I hope you're listening. I don't do the music Murph does, Sal, but Sal, of course, he's famous forever for a lot of things, but Daddy-O and the Sax Maniacs. No, but he said that he suggested a good closing song. Jackson Browne, stay just a little bit longer. That's a great idea. And it is how I feel at the end of the show. I was coming in this morning, and I was a little late, so I'm, a little bit rushing. And I'm thinking to myself, as I was listening to the morning show end, I'm thinking, I don't want my show to be over. I want to go in and do it. Isn't that great? I'm telling you, it's very fortunate. And because it's such an easy job, they don't pay well. That's the downside. But other than that, it's a job you love to go to every day because I get to hang around with all of you. So thank you, Sal. I'm running it by Murph right now on the air that we have a steady closing song, and that would be Jackson Browne. Always loved that song. Let's go to the phone or to phones, and we've got, if you know from the theme song, Larry from Plymouth. We never know what he's going to say, but he's going to say something. How are you, Larry? How are you, Larry?
Good, Bob. How are you?
I'm great.
Okay, Bob. Now, I'm going to say something, Bob. And before you say I'm crazy, let me finish.
No, I you don't come on and tell me the ground rules.
Okay.
If it's
you
crazy,
can butt in and call me crazy any time away, along the way. But here, Bob, the other day I was watching some podcasts, day before yesterday, of Charlie Kirk. Mm-hmm. And after watching that, Bob, I have decided he was insane. He was truly insane after watching those podcasts, and I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah, I know you are, but I think he is. I've had the exact opposite reaction. I never watched so much Charlie Kirk as after he was assassinated. Yeah. He was even more brilliant than I suspected.
Okay, well, it's insane people are brilliant too. But anyway, Bob, he said on one of his podcasts that he believed that the attack, when was the attack on the Israelis? October 7th?
Yes, 2023.
He said he believed that was an inside job.
I never saw that.
Well, I'll find out from my buddy showed it to me on his phone.
You might be confusing him with Tucker Carlson.
No. And
he's gone off the deep end.
He also said that the Jews want to get rid of Christianity. Bob, I saw him saying it. See, and he said also that there's no reason that we can't be friends with Iran because he said, after all, Pakistan and India has nukes, but they're not always saying death to America, though, Bob.
I've never seen any of this, Larry.
Okay, well, I will find out, and then you could look it up.
And you could pass it on to Bulldog. Tell him where I can find it, and I'll look it up. You've got to remember this, though, Larry. Remember this. There is a lot of fake
I know.
AI on the internet. You go to Instagram, and you better find out that you better double check the source, which I try to do before I throw anything on the air here.
Well, yeah, Bob. I saw the one with Chucky Schumer and what's his name.
But that doesn't sound like anything even approaching what I've heard Charlie Kirk say regarding Mideast policy.
Okay, but I will find out. But see, Bob, that's what's wrong with religious fanatics, Bob. See, religion was the worst thing ever created by man, and it's going to destroy the world.
Well, religion was the worst thing ever perverted by man. Was it created by man? No, a belief in an almighty led us to want to do it, but then sometimes flawed human beings have developed the structures through which we worship.
I don't know, Bob. I tell you, when I hear these people on some of these people,
I always say this. I admire your atheism. I think it shows a lot of guts.
Bob, some of these people that say they were talking to God and everything. Well, anybody says that they were talking to God and he was talking back to them, they should open up these crazy houses again, because that's insane.
See, I don't see that. I think people have experienced divine intervention. I have not. I would love to, but I have not, at least any overt intervention. But I believe I believe a lot of people do. I really do.
Bob, I don't think prayer ever helped anyone. I don't believe it because I'm going to tell you why, Bob.
This is why I have you on, because you will say, it's like, you remember Art Linkletter? He had the show Kids Say the Darndest Things. Well,
yes.
I should have it. Larry says the darndest things.
Well, no, Bob, because Bob, when people pray, they could pray 100 times, nothing happens. Then they'll pray one time, and something good will happen. Oh my God, I prayed and God saved him or saved it. No, the odds are finally going to come up where one time you pray, something good's going to happen.
Listen, the logic is on your side. I'm not denying that, Larry. But faith is exactly what it means. It's a leap to believe something that we can't prove to be true or is not a logical segue. It's just
well,
what
Bob, one of these days we're going to find out, Bob.
Yes. And if I'm wrong, okay. Somebody will be chuckling. Some superior being will be chuckling. If you're wrong, God bless you. Larry from Plymouth. We'll take a break and be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by our friend John Basiliga. And as we head into the weekends, we feature one of his great companies, Basiliga Hospitality. Sergei's Live, the winner of the best nightclub, best live music venue. A Terra 519 downtown Scranton, right above Sergei's. Best fine dining, best new local restaurant, best wine selection. Old Brook Inn, Springbrook Township, best outdoor dining, best place for a first date. 307 Springbrook. The Stegmar Mansion, best reception hall. It's gorgeous. Takes you back to another era. The Far Street Tavern, winner of best bar food, best neighborhood bar. Queen City Tavern, winner of the best bar. And the Scranton Art House, best movie theater. They deserve every accolade they get. Richard Polak. He was 81 when we lost him September 26th. He was from Larksville. Born in Exeter, he served his country proudly in the United States Army. He then worked in construction for many years, including Ed Guida Construction. He was a man who always put his loved ones first, offering unwavering support, quiet strength, and a generous heart. He had a passion for Mustangs and fast cars. He loved to hunt. He loved to fish. He loved the quiet of all of that. Left to cherish his memory and mourn his loss, his wife of 60 years, the former Madeline Kaprowski Polak of Larksville. His daughter, Tracy. His son, Gary, also of Larksville. His grandson, Gary, of Larksville. He'll be lovingly remembered by his family and friends as a devoted husband, father, and grandfather whose greatest joy was his family. Richard Polak, our veteran this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Storm Tracker 16 forecast, meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, mostly sunny, 68 degrees, 58 outside our studios right now. Tonight, clear and chilly, low 45. Friday, mostly sunny, 75. Saturday, sunny, high 80. Sunday, sunny, high 80. I like a boring forecast, especially when it's in that territory. Well, we talk about the time, and whenever I look at the time, I look at my Picardo Jewelers watch. And we gave him a theme song. He could change it if he likes. Does anybody really know what time it is by Chicago? Picardo Watch Store, the watch store, the jewelry store, downtown Scranton, Spruce Street and Jefferson Avenue, catty corner from the Radisson. Raymond Weil, Breitling, Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, Swiss Army, Seiko, Tory Burch, Victorinox, Bulova, and like I have on, which you can see on the live stream, my lovely Picardo Jewelers watch. Alex Picardo, how are you, my friend?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Even better talking to you.
Always is.
You know, when I'm talking to you, I picture that beautiful store. I love that store. Man, that took a lot of work to redesign, completely redesign it. It is so comfortable to come in and shop.
I appreciate that. It took around 2 years to fully complete this building, and we wanted it very modern and new age, and for people to come in, even if they weren't our customers, now to come in and feel invited and relaxed. We have couches, the bar, a coffee stand, a drink stand. It's very lax in here, and we want everyone to feel welcome. New customers, old customers, and new generations. I want everyone to come in and not feel like they're in a jewelry store or pressured. You feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that's the vibe that we gave off. It's
You
pretty
really
cool.
do.
I would love to have everyone come in and check it out.
You really do. Hey, so you got something going on with Bulova. I saw a snippet of it on Instagram. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I just got the new Bulova in, the brand new booty edition. It's the Lunar Pilot. Very special piece, numbered to around 5,500 pieces worldwide. You get it signed by the designer. It's a really cool special dial watch. Bulova's been doing a lot of very cool things lately, which is amazing. But what I want to bring up, and I didn't even mention it to anybody yet, Today's the first time I'm going to mention it. We are, as you know, an exclusive Breitling dealer. But we just got the honor. They came out with a brand new premier ladies line that is exclusive only to 3 dealers, and I am the only one in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And almost in the East Coast. Not every boutique or store will carry this. My sales representative spoke with me, and we had a meeting, and they chose our store in Scranton, Pennsylvania, to be one of 3 major dealers to carry this exclusive ladies line, and it's fabulous.
Ladies line of Breitling. Wow.
Yes.
How neat.
Breitling always had ladies, but this is a brand new, exclusive, very limited series that is going to be only at Picardo Jewelers.
Now, the first thing I do when I come in the store, I see the jewelry, and it stops me. And
Absolutely.
It's the root of things. In future appearances, I want you to give us the history, because we're going back generations here with the Picardo family.
Yeah, my grandfather started it, and then he took a pause and served in the Marine Corps. And when he came back, he started his own business. He started as an errand boy for a local jeweler, and then moved his way up and fell in love with the art. He used to make everything by hand. He's one of the best bench guys I've ever known, not just saying he's my grandfather, into what we are today. And a lot of people know us as a watch store, but our jewelry is top of the line. We're very exclusive in what we carry. Our colors are some of the best you can buy. Our pricing, I vent that, and it's not a sales pitch. I always tell people there's a million places to go, and always go where you're comfortable, but give me a shot. I feel like if you never came here before, don't feel like intimidated to walk in. Walk in, ask for me. I'm always here. We'll sit down, we'll talk, get an idea of what you're looking for, and that we will get you what you want. I've been getting a lot of new people in because of that, and then they see, oh, geez, you're not just a watch place. You have some beautiful, exclusive jewelry lines, and we pride ourselves by that because it's very hard to get.
And there is no salesmanship. That's the one thing I loved about Picardo's forever. There's no pressure. None
at all. We are going to be very laid back and relaxed, and when you come in here, you'll get a good vibe, I hope, and a good experience to what I believe a jewelry store should be. Because I know even when I go out, I like to stop at watch stores and other places. And sometimes even myself, I feel, geez, do I belong in here? I feel like I'm getting looked at. You'll never get that here. It's the truth.
I know it.
And some places don't make you feel welcome, but that won't happen here.
Great stuff. Well, Alex, I look forward to talking to you again. This Breitling high-end ladies line is great to hear about. The Bulova event and products ongoing, and plus everything else we talk about. That's why it's Picardo Jewelers, your watch store time on this program.
Thank you very much.
All right. Alex Picardo, thank you, man.
Have a good day, everybody.
We'll take a break. We'll be back. I remember. I don't remember what my curfew was in 1976. What, I was 15 years old, and I saw this. Joe Cocker and John Belushi was next to him, imitating him. It was hilarious, and Cocker was oblivious to Belushi and his histrionics. Great performance, though. This date, 1976. Murph says Cocker performed on Saturday Night Live along with Belushi, singing "Feeling All Right." Guys, one of our great listeners pointing out, one of the great supporters of the show, actually, pointing out it appears something happened in the skies. Like something was sprayed. If you look to today's skies versus yesterday. Now, I will tell you, or actually, I'm not trying to tell you anything. I'm just trying to tell you to start noticing the skies. I'm not going to, I don't mean anything. I don't intend it. Just start looking at the sky and start wondering why on most days we don't have the clear skies I remember. Not just as a kid, as an adult. And what is this? How is all of these, or all of these chemtrails or whatever, how are they there? And again, you rose-colored glasses when you look back in the past. I would remember a jet going by and you would see, a trail of smoke, vapor, all that behind it. But you had clear skies other than that, and the clouds, of course, themselves. Now there's just haze, and I don't know. I don't know what they are. I'm not trying to make a claim as to what they are. But I will tell you, the people that are concerned about chemtrails may not be wrong. I just want you to observe your skies from now on. And tell me what you think and start to look it up and think about it. All right. Let's go to Donald from Pittston on the government shutdown.
Yep. You there, Bob?
I'm waiting for your theme song to kick in, Donald.
Okay, you got it.
All right. How are you, my man?
Good. I got a sound bite for all your listeners here around the world. You ready?
Yes.
Bob Cordaro is so much better than Bob Cordaro. Jimmy Kimmel's going to give me an Oscar for that one. He's the only guy with any sense, though, right now. Fetterman, on the Democratic side.
I know. And I play that every time the Pie Man's on, and I love it. I laugh every time. So thank you for that.
The reason I'm calling you, listen, I'm going to prove that. Ever seen a movie like the deep fake is really the truth, what Schumer really thinks. Mm-hmm. It's like the movie with Jim Carrey, Liar, Liar. He's saying, like, with the woke transgender agenda, our party's done. We have no – and everything says the same thing. He's constantly lying. This Schumer guy said the New York Times has a conservative bias. And everybody in the House –
I saw that yesterday. I'm
right.
like, everybody on the Republican side of the –
suffer from the shutdown.
Yeah, everybody on the Republican side of the aisle, they just burst out laughing simultaneously. Yeah. Spontaneously.
It's the perfect thing that it was there a movie years ago, like the guy was a lawyer, liar, Jim Carrey, I think it was, yeah. And everything he said was the truth, and that's what he's saying. He couldn't, instead of lying, he's doing that actually with the sombrero. That's how they really feel inside. But you see, they're trapped with the socialist Mandami, the Squad, AOC, and they can't go that way because now the majority of the party are becoming socialist. And they really don't want to go that far left, I don't think. And he's trapped because he's going to be probably primaried by AOC. There's no doubt about it.
Well, the only one that has the guts, you pointed it out, the only one that has the guts to oppose, well, two people. The one person in media is Bill Maher. And one person in the House and Senate is John Fetterman, of all people.
He's more popular now with Republicans than Democrats. It was a poll I just read on the internet. what he's doing, but see, I know there's some things to the transgender. He could still, maybe he could switch over that, like, but I know he devotes insane, but I think eventually he might just come over to the other side and say it's useless. There's nothing there to work with.
Yeah.
Like Stephen Miller said in that speech he made for Charlie Kirk, they have nothing.
Yeah.
And you can see it every day. This shutdown, I think, is going to hurt them because they're not coming up with any solutions. It is about illegal health care for illegal immigrants.
And it's about subsidizing. It's about pretending. It's also pretending with $400 billion of our money that Obamacare worked. That's what it's about, too.
Obamacare was a big failure.
Important. Very important to them.
It's a failure. I'm going to give you a few key points before I'm going to just explain. That was his mother had ovary cancer, and she died. He told the story 100 times. And the medical report came back, and they said it was a pre-existing condition. That was just to treat people with pre-existing conditions. That wasn't for transgender operations on kids or abortions or all this other nonsense. They wanted regular people to be treated if they had a pre-existing condition, so they wouldn't die. They expanded all this into all this other garbage, which wasn't meant to be. The original bill, when he was campaigning for, he said you could keep your doctor and everything else, and it turned out to really hurt the people that had good health insurance. It diluted it. Rob O'Donnell said it. He had
what he should have said.
Drive up.
We got to go because I got to take this call. But
we'll talk about it further, Dave. That's the truth.
He should have said, well, this will increase your premiums and your deductibles. Good luck, America. Thank you, Donald. Always a pleasure, my friend. And on the blower, my friend Jack Kuchak, big tournament Saturday, talking about the benefit of St. Joseph's, 1 o'clock shotgun. You could get you could join in as a sponsor or even a player at Dunmore Lumber. And Jack Kuchak, one of the guys who helps put it together every year, is with us. How are you, my man?
Bobby, good to hear from you. I'm glad there was a little brief different person on after our atheist friend from Plymouth. I'm like, I don't want to follow that guy. Holy mother of God.
I love him.
But, yeah, Saturday's a great cause. I've been helping your brother Ronnie out in memory of your nephew Anthony for the last 10 years. But you know how it is with Ronnie. 10 years feels like 50 years. He went a little rogue this year on us. So I'll bring that up to him on Saturday. I will be there. But it is a great benefit. Anybody that's listening, we have a few spots still left open. I filled a couple yesterday. The money goes right to St. Joe's. We write a check that day, and it goes right to St. Joe's. It's going to be a good time, free food.
Perfect weather.
Heather Fox, it's fantastic. And then we're going to have, I think, food trucks, Ronnie said. And then Heather and Fox and I are going to drive around and get a couple cases of beer from Pudgy Perry. Thank you for all the work he does. And we're going to be handing out like beer and water to the golfers because she doesn't know how to play golf. And you played with me. I don't know how to play golf either. I just paid $15,000 to Glenn Meyer for shits and giggles, I guess.
Hey, that's right. Quickly, because we're running out of time. But fire away on this. Our friend Billy Fox. Go ahead.
So Foxy, one of my best friends, passed away about 2 months ago, and we're raising money for his kids' education. His daughter's a senior. She's going to college next year, and little Billy's a senior at Marywood. It's a gun bingo the following weekend on Sunday at the catering hall from Calarusso's. They were nice enough to donate it. PDQ gave us all the brochures, the tickets, everything for free. But the money goes to the kids' education. We have over $25,000 in guns. We have a $4,000 thermal scope.
Well, you got to call next week because we want to really get into this. Okay, we got to go.
Yeah,
my
and
man.
Bobby, we have a Trump engraved pistol, so that'll be good for the listeners. And I believe in God.
Call next week and let's get some more info on this Fox thing. It's great.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on Saturday when I see you at the tournament.
A good man. All right, thank you. Jack Kuchak, we'll be back. John Cougar, before he became Mellencamp and before he went crazy left, had the number one hit this date, 1982, Murph tells us. Jack and Diane, shut up and sing, Johnny. A bunch of you, by the way, somebody texted, when is the Bob Cordaro line coming out at Picardo's? I might have to have that conversation. I love watches. And I don't like the really expensive ones to the point where I'd pay for them. Not that I can afford them anyway. But, man, they go from sort of just great solid watches like I have at Picardo's to, like, the most expensive, most beautiful watches you've ever seen. And I love to look at them. Anyway, back to the chemtrail stuff and the spraying of the somebody takes in, they're spraying silver something in the atmosphere since the 50s. Chemtrails. Somebody else, thank you for going there. And there's something called geoengineeringwatch.org. JJ the trucker said, Bob, at 7 a.m. the skies were clear except for chemtrails. Now they are hazy. Like, what is that? And it's that way all the time. Somebody else, Bob, the Bulldog better cue up the theme from the Twilight Zone. But I think more people are flying by plane, cargo by plane. There are just more planes in the sky than ever. I wish that explained it. They'd be straight lines. It wouldn't be this haze that's constantly there. Somebody else says they're attempting to control the weather with devastating consequences to crops, humans, animals. I just want, and I'm not making a conclusion. I'm not pushing you to a conclusion. I'm just telling you, look at the skies and tell me why they are almost never clear. And when they are clear, how do you get this sort of smoke all over the place? I don't get it. I'm looking every day and I'm saying, I don't have the answers, but I certainly have the question. Well, my Bacardi Jewelers watch tells me it's 11:01 and change. So that means it's time for the news with Brian Hughes. Hey, we're coming back. This is different for us. I've got a guy called Tommy Boy. He's a guitarist for the nation's #1 yacht rock band, Yachtly Crew. And I'm going to talk to him about what the hell is this yacht rock thing. Maybe many of you are fans. We'll talk about it after this. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Well, with great good morning, everyone. 11:08 a.m. here in the great Northeast on my Picardo Jewelers watch. This beautiful Thursday, October 2, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we honor today and lost this year, thanks to John Basiliga, Richard Pollack, Clarksville, Thomas Reese, Springbrook Township, and Ronald Pickles Grahalski, Nanticoke. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle, gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense with some great yacht rock in the background. Well, Tommy Bowie. He is the guitarist for the nation's #1 yacht rock band, Yachtly Crew, that you heard so much about just moments ago. And here he is. Tommy, welcome to the Bob Cordaro Show. How are you?
Good morning. How are you? I'm great.
Well, I've heard a lot about this. I know I've heard yacht rock. Tell us what it is.
Okay, well, yacht rock, for those that don't know, is all the great soft rock hits of the 70s and 80s. If you didn't know it was called yacht rock, you still know all the songs. We're talking about Steely Dan and Toto and Michael McDonald, Kenny Loggins, all of these great acts that has kind of had a huge resurgence in the last few years. And my band, Yachtly Crew, is at the forefront of that. So we're happy to be there.
Tell me, you guys are doing a lot of live performances?
Yeah, I mean, we're playing. I think I played 5 out of the 7 days of last week. I'm in the back of the tour bus right now, heading to Dallas, Texas to play in 2 nights. And so we're constantly on the road. We call ourselves the hardest working band in show business. So we've been all over the U.S., and we even got to Australia in May. So we're international at this point. And yacht rock, it's a testament to these great songs that these amazing studio musicians and songwriters made back in that time frame. And so we're just trying to honor that music and breathe some new life into it.
Tommy Bowie is with us. He's from Yachtly Crew. He's the guitarist. How did it become yacht rock? Because we're all familiar with the songs, as you said. We know them all. Who came up with the concept to put them together and then give it the moniker yacht rock?
Well, it was actually a YouTube comedy series in about 2005. It came out, and it was kind of like a viral comedy series, and it was just kind of making light. I wouldn't say like talking down about the music, but it was more just making light of it, and it was a funny little YouTube shorts. And then the name kind of caught on from there, and people, it kind of went viral, and yacht rock was just kind of on everybody's tongue. And then I believe there was a Sirius satellite radio had a yacht rock station that a lot of people were into. And so we were saying, we were sitting around and go, well, there needs to be a band that plays all this music. If it's coming back and it has a genre specific thing like that, it's not really being represented in the market. So why don't we do that? And since it's called yacht rock, we're going to dress up like sailors and, make it a whole happening. And that's exactly what it's become.
Were you, was the group that now forms Yachtly Crew, were you a band before this or just a group of musicians that got together around yacht rock?
Yeah, we were just a group of musicians. I mean, 2 of us had been in bands together, but in general, it's all got new guys that we haven't played well at the time. This is 8 years ago now. We formed in 2017.
Yeah.
But at the time we hadn't played together except for 2 of the guys. So it was really cool to see the chemistry come together, and how, and it's still is there to this day, that we all kind of complement each other, both like from the show standpoint and the music standpoint, and everybody knows their role and is happy in their role too, which is important in a band. You know?
Tommy Boy is my guest, Yachtly Crew's guitarist. I see it really as the successor to the Rabbit Heads. How I just drew a complete blank there. I see it as a successor to Jimmy Buffett. I apologize. In capturing capturing a half a generation or a generation of people and capturing a mood.
I 100% agree with you, and I do say that. Jimmy Buffett had the Parrot Heads, and we have our band. Yeah. We call them the Croupies. And it's a similar vibe where people show up before. It's not just about the 2-hour show. It's about the parking lot beforehand, or if we're at like a venue in a downtown area, it's at the bar next to the venue. People show up with their captain's hats and their sailor outfits, and it's a whole happening. And it's really incredible what's happened. And I will say too, our first EP was on Jimmy Buffett's record label called Mailboat Records.
Oh, neat.
And so, he had taken a liking to us, and I think he saw the same thing that you see. And unfortunately, we lost Jimmy. And, we never got to play on stage with Jimmy, unfortunately. Yeah. But we did play the Jimmy Buffett Festival down in Gulf Shores last year to honor him, which was really cool.
Great.
But R.I.P. Jimmy, and I just, I had to give him a shout out for putting us on his label for our first EP.
Amen. So, Tommy Bowie, what size venues are you guys performing in? All sizes, or is there a specific type of venue that you perform?
I mean, it is all sizes. I guess it depends on, like, we just toured through the South this last couple of weeks, and it was kind of our first time in the South because we've conquered pretty much everywhere else in the country. So all right, we're going to bring it to the South. So we did some smaller stuff in the South, but in general, that's not even always true, because when we did North Carolina, we played an arena opening for Walker Hayes, a country artist, and we killed it at this huge, like, 5,000 person arena. So you just, our show is totally translatable from a bar up into an arena. So that's the way we've wanted it. It's a high energy show, and we're doing lights and smoke, and we're wearing the outfits, and we're doing choreography, and we're interacting with the crowd. So you're not going to come and sit down and sip on the tea while you watch our show. It's a full on rock and roll show.
Are we going to have a chance to see Yachtly Crew in the Northeast?
Absolutely. We have been to. You guys are at Wilkes-Barre, right?
Yes.
We played at the Mohegan Arena there a little while ago, a couple years ago. But we would love to come back to that area. I don't think we have anything for 25 on the books right now. Although we will be. How far are you guys from, like, Morristown, New Jersey? I think
not far.
We'll be in Atlantic.
An hour and a half tops.
There you go. So we'll be in Morristown, New Jersey next week, I believe.
Oh, neat.
And then we're at Harrah's in Atlantic City. So Morristown is October 9th, and Harrah's is the 10th and 11th in Atlantic City.
So we have people from Northeast Pennsylvania who get a tax deduction for Atlantic City. So that's certainly in reach.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to come and sing along to yacht rock songs that all the lyrics to, and just party and drink a pina colada with us, come on down.
It is great music. That was. Do you think this music was overlooked in its day?
I was born in the 80s, so I feel like, maybe I'm not the best judge of that, but I definitely think afterwards, it was kind of forgotten about for a little while. Yeah. Like, obviously, when you think of the 80s, like Guns N' Roses and Van Halen always got talked about in terms of rock and roll, right? But then there was, like, there's this yacht rock stuff that had happened that was maybe even seen as guilty pleasure music at the time.
Yeah.
but really, it really wasn't getting its due retrospectively about how good the musicians were. These are like the best studio musicians, ever. I mean, Michael Jackson's Thriller is basically a Toto album with Michael Jackson singing on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how these guys were the studio pros of the time. So, yeah, I think people now are realizing, like, wow, these guys were beasts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the music, it just has an emotional quality to it and a nostalgic factor that, it can't be denied, and people are showing that now.
Tommy Bowie, your group has a new album called Seize the Night, SEAS the Night,
Yeah.
and it came out September 9th. 11 songs, 10 of them are yacht rock, but one's an original track, "Pain of Losing You." Tell us about that.
Well, that is our original song on the album that was written for us by the legendary Diane Warren. For those that don't know, Diane Warren wrote "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing" by Aerosmith. She wrote "Rhythm of the Night" by DeBarge.
Wow.
She wrote "If I Could Turn Back Time" by Cher. She has this whole laundry list of hit songs. Celine Dion, like all these stuff.
Yeah.
So our management has known Diane for a while, and they got in touch, and she said, "Hey, I have a song for Yachtly Crew." And so we are intelligent people, so we said, "Yeah, absolutely, we'll do a Diane Warren song for sure."
That is neat.
And and now we're in the top 20 of the Billboard charts, so it's crazy.
Seize the Night, SEAS the Night. Your new album. You're performing in Dallas. You will be in Morristown. You're going to be in AC coming up later this year. This is great stuff. Tommy, when you come back east, you feel free to get in touch. We'll put you on and talk some more. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'd love to. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Tommy Bowie, Yachtly Crew, Yacht Rock. It's the new deal, the new pair of heads. Thank you again.
All right. Have a good one.
We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We will return. Beautiful song. This date, 1994, The Pretenders. Murph says they were moving up the charts with their hit, Stand By You. Bob Cordaro back, and of course, in the history moment, the crazy situation of the Washington, D.C. area sniper. It is hard to believe it's 23 years ago. The attack started 23 years ago today. Amazing. Hey, something I'm going to get to because one of our callers is on it. You know, I had a lot of problems with Pope Francis, and now I got a problem with Pope Leo. We're going to talk about it in a minute, but let's go to the more positive side of religion. And Rodney from Falls, who was more than patient with us. Rodney, how are you, man?
Good, Bob. Listen, I text you almost every day, but I've never been compelled to call you, but Larry compelled me. I've got to tell you a story, so I'm going to try and make it quick. My wife and I had 3 sons. Our middle son, Zachy, he's 35. He still lives with us. He has autism. This story happened in 1992 when he was 2 years old. We knew something was wrong with him. We didn't know he was autistic. We kept the doors locked so he wouldn't get out. I absentmindedly left the bill code door open, and he got out of the house. So when I came back in, we couldn't find him. Panic sets in. I go to my neighbors across the street, look for him. I tell my wife, call the fire department, call the state police. I'm going looking for him. I live on a hill, 27 acres I own, and it's all like hunting brush. Mm-hmm. So I'm going up through there, and I'm searching the best way I know. I'm zigzagging, I'm stopping, I'm yelling his name, I'm listening. And this went on for about 5 minutes, and I was out of my wits. And I'm going to tell you what happened. I hit my knees, and I prayed to God. I said, God, help me. Jesus, help me. I don't know where my son is. I need to find him. Instantly, the sky didn't open up. I didn't hear it out loud, but a thought that didn't come from my brain went right into my head and said, go to the top of the hill. He'll be there. So I stopped searching. I ran all the way to the top of the hill. It's a few hundred yards. My neighbor's property. It's a 20-acre open field, like farming.
Yeah. And
I was sure he would be there. I got to the top of the hill. I scanned that field. He wasn't there. And my heart felt like it was a rock dropped down a well at that moment. And then I heard him cry. And I went through the brush. I got all cut up. And here he was stuck in a picker bush. And I found him. And I'm going to tell you, prayer was answered immediately. I'm not saying every prayer. I've had bad things happen. I lost my oldest son. But I still believe in God, and that happened, all right? And it's true.
Amen. Rodney, I'm happy you stuck with us and called back to give us that story. That is incredible. Now, your son, he's 35 now, you said?
Yes, he is, yeah.
And is he on the more severe side of the spectrum?
Well, he's intelligent. I'll tell him to do things, and he does exactly what I told him, but he can't have a conversation like we're having.
Yeah.
For some reason, speech eludes him. He can say a few words, but like he washes the clothes every day. We have a thing. I give him $1 when I get home, and he'll go out to the barn and get wood, and he can cook for himself. He just can't talk like us.
Rodney, do you attribute anything, any particular causes to his autism?
I honestly can't tell you what happened. Yeah. We didn't know. At that time when he was 2, we thought he was deaf. We didn't, autism wasn't as prevalent back then.
Correct.
And we went through a lot of tests and finally had an auditory brain response test done. After 3 tries, he wouldn't fall asleep. They put him in general anesthesia and did it. And I remember when the doctor came out, he said, no, he can hear. And I cried. I was like, and he goes, why are you crying? I said, I don't know what's wrong with him. And, But he's a great kid. I love him. He's a joy to our life, But I just wanted to refute that God doesn't exist. I don't know if it was God. I don't know if it was Jesus, a guardian angel. All I can tell you is I know when I didn't think of something, it was bam, put in my head.
Rodney, we're honoring guardian angels today, so appropriate that you said that. Hey, so. You've had this child, and you've been raising him, and now he's grown up. He's developed certain abilities. You've developed a tremendous understanding of him, obviously, right?
That's all my wife. My wife's an angel. 39 years I'm with her. Janie, when they told us to institutionalize him, my wife would not give up, and she taught him. It took her forever to get him potty trained back then. To this day, she's his biggest advocate. We love him. I can't help but love him. He's my son.
Exactly.
But Janie, she brought him to where he is today.
That is great stuff, Rodney. I appreciate it. I appreciate you calling in and having you among this large dysfunctional family we have here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Bob.
And and feel compelled to call in again, not just when Larry says something goofy.
All right, Bob.
All right.
I will. Thank you.
Right, man. The power of prayer. And the answer is not always yes. The answer is not always what we understand because we don't have the understanding. That's not a dodge for why our prayers are not granted, our requests to God are not granted. You're in a different place. It's a different level. Let's go to John from Carbondale quickly. John, how are you? John, are you with us?
Yes.
Fire away, man.
I have a question. When Josh Shapiro was Attorney General, his office used $295,000 of taxpayer money to settle a sexual harassment claim.
Yep.
Why
that was just one.
Ever...
There were others.
Yes, exactly. Why doesn't anybody report on that? And why isn't Dave Sunday investigating that? Look what they did to Donald Trump with his own money.
Yep.
And Shapiro used our money, but yeah, he still can't balance a budget because why? What's he doing? Hiding more money to, give to somebody else?
It's crazy stuff, and it's like he's protected.
Exactly.
I don't get it. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's a left-wing loony. I was pointing out just last week, $5 million of our tax money went to a radical mosque in Philadelphia so he could buy off the radical Muslim vote. It's insane.
Exactly. And Bob, here's a real kicker. I was at a few Republican dinners over the last year, and there was a few Republican politicians there. I asked them about that, and they just looked at me like they didn't want to comment on it, and they just walked away.
Yeah.
It's like why? This guy is no good. And Stacey Garrity needs to start pushing that out right now. Start pushing it out right now. If she wants to beat him, that's why she has to run on because he ran. He was about women's rights.
Yep.
What? So he can sexually harass them again?
And so he could have girls in boys' bathroom or boys in girls' bathrooms and girls' sports. I mean,
exactly
for women's rights, bull.
And before you know it, in the men's room, in the men's restrooms, we'll be having tampon machines.
He's done everything left-wing loony but that. He really has. I'm happy you pointed that out, John. I appreciate it.
Yes, you have a good day.
All right, my friend. Thank you. We've got to go to our break. We've got our Veterans Tribute. We got a bunch of callers I want to get to. So let's try to do all of that. 570-883-0098. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. We'll be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by our man, John Basiliga, and just one of his fine companies, John Basiliga Hospitality. Let's talk about a couple of the properties. They're all award-winning. Far Street Tavern, best bar food, best neighborhood bar. West Scranton. Queen City Tavern Oliphant, the winner of the best bar. Scranton Art House, downtown Scranton, winner, best movie theater, 3 years in a row. Old Brook Inn, best outdoor dining, 2 years in a row. Best place to have a first date, 5 years in a row, 307 Springbrook. The Stegmeyer Mansion, best reception hall, and a heck of a lot more than that. A Terra 519, best fine dining, best new local restaurant, best wine selection. Incredible properties of Basiliga Hospitality. Bringing you this tribute to Ronald Pickles Grohalski. He died at age 85, September 26th. He was from Nanticoke. Born in that great town. He graduated from Nanticoke High School, class of 59. He served his country, enlisting with the United States Marine Corps, a motor vehicle operator, stationed in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, Fallbrook, California, and Okinawa, Japan. Attained the rank of corporal. He worked for Suburban Oil Company as a driver. Then he worked for Jack Williams Tire Warehouse in Moosic. Later on as a hotshot driver, servicing local gas stations, tire dealers, car dealerships. 47 years with the great Jack Williams Company. Member of St. Faustina Kowalska Parish, Nanticoke. He belonged to St. Maria Czestochowa Church. Loved his cars. He loved drag racing. 57 Chevy, 66 Chevelle, 72 Nova SS, 62 Corvette. 44 Drags, Numidia Dragway, Pocono Drag Lodge. Loved it. Ron always had a smile on his face and loved everyone. He was an awesome man. Surviving, a sister-in-law, nieces, nephew, his devoted caregiver and lifelong partner, Dolores Warren, and other family members. Ronald Pickles Grohalski, our great veteran this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, mostly sunny, high 68. Tonight, clear and chilly, low 45. Friday, mostly sunny, 75. Saturday, sunny, 80. Sunday, sunny, 80. Uh-huh. Excavator guy sent me a picture of Bill Gaughan, our Lackawanna County Commissioner, with a sombrero and mustache. I just had to share it on Facebook. I don't know how to do it on our radio station stuff, but I was able to share it on Facebook. Thanks, Excavator guy. Appreciate it, man. And I said, why not? Same blind rhetoric, just like Hakeem Jeffries. He deserves a sombrero. Hootie and the Blowfish Murph says they moved up to number 6 this date, 1995, the good old days, with their hit Only Wanna Be With You. And how about that? That's that fat comedian, John Panette. Hilarious. Hey, let's go to Bill from Pittston. He's been patient on the Pope. This has been burning me, Bill. I'm happy you called because I almost forgot about it.
You know, from an inspiring face of just a regular guy that was very inspiring, the gentleman with the autistic son, to something questionable and not so inspiring.
Yeah.
Dick Durbin is being celebrated in his diocese for his great work, and a number of conservative Catholic bishops have told him not so. You shouldn't do it because of his record on abortion. Pope Leo
not
weighed
just
in.
abortion, on an entire panoply of issues. He's a dog, Dick Durbin. He's a liar.
Yes. And the Pope weighed in saying, don't judge him, in reference to what you just said. Don't judge him just because of his position on abortion. Look at all the great things he's done in his total career.
Dear Lord.
That's offensive.
Very
offensive to me.
I got sent. I found this, and then I got sent from Mr. Paul, our executive producer, the comments of the Pope. And here's the Dick Durbin. If he's overwhelmed by the Pope's support, you know the Pope did something wrong. Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
Ugh.
But combine that with his now coming out calling the environmental problem. He and Schwarzenegger are teaming up to terminate the green, the environmental problems, and he's calling it a social justice issue. And to top that off, he's criticizing Trump for his handling of immigrants. And if he's really that concerned, invite them to the Vatican. Invite all these people to the Vatican. Sell everything you got, and let's give it to the poor.
And Bill, visit the rest of Europe, dummy. Visit the rest of Europe and see the chaos they've created. I'm telling you, this guy's gone way off track early. Pope Leo. I'm disgusted with him, particularly after he did not have the guts to call out Dick Durbin for being an anti-Catholic, evil person, basically. He didn't have the guts.
It's hard to believe his brother and he came from the same womb, his conservative brother.
And then let's go to the environmental thing. We're supposed to be for the poor. Who's going to get hurt the most? The poor by this Green New scam. And that's what it is. Bill, thank you. I got to go to other calls, but I'm so happy you brought it up to let me vent. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right, man. Chris Chermak, our normal Lackawanna County Commissioner, is on the line. Chris, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for that.
I just posted a picture of your colleague with full sombrero and mustache regalia, which was provided to me by one of our great listeners, Excavator Guy.
Oh, perfect. He fits right into that group, definitely.
Oh, dear Lord. Anyway, you want to extend some thanks to our Congressman Rob Bresnahan.
Yes. So obviously yesterday with the government shutdown, our trolley museum that sits on the property of this historical Steamtown historical site is federal property, and our building belongs to them. So we were unable to open yesterday. So I talked to Rob at 7 o'clock yesterday morning. He got right on it, and we got a waiver yesterday afternoon that we can open today. We have buses coming. We have trips planned. We have, it's a busy time for our trolley. So I really want to thank Rob and his team for, stepping up and helping me get that up and running, because that's a big deal to us here. It's a revenue generator, and it's just such a great That's one of my favorite things. Is the trolley.
But Chris, I mean, isn't Bill Gaughan upset? I mean, Rob Bresnahan's a Republican who's killing people.
He'll certainly, he'll never give any credit for that. But hey, whatever. It's open, and I was he's a phone call away anytime I need him. So he's just a huge asset to our region here.
Amen. Thank you, Chris Chermak. Appreciate
it
very much.
Thank you.
All right. Frank from Scranton, how are you, Frank?
Hey, Bob. How are you doing today?
Great.
Yeah.
Other than Pope Leo, I'm doing great. Yeah.
I just want to tell you, when I was listening to the guy from Plymouth, I had to ask God to forgive me because I was talking back to him as he was speaking. I couldn't believe the stuff that he was saying, the untruths.
Listen, Larry likes to stir the pot, and that's why I put him on.
Oh boy! I honest to God, I was rambling right back at him as he was coming.
Frank, but I say this to Larry all the time, and I've got and have had atheist friends over the years. I say I just admire your courage. You got more guts than I do because when you die, God bless you.
Yeah. Well, I think you remember the story I told you about a truck that I rolled over.
Yes. Just the other day we were talking about this and the miracle you experienced. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I had my open heart surgery, when my ribs exploded, when the doctor opened me.
Yep. That's amazing.
I have so many things that I gotta thank God for because they're not coincidences. They're I don't have luck. I could play the lottery till I'm blue in the face, and if I buy a $10 ticket and win $5, I go, wow, I'm not lucky.
Well, Frank, we're hanging on to our religion. I don't care what Barack says or Larry. We're hanging on to our guns and our religion. We're hanging on to them.
Oh, you just ruined my day. You mentioned Barack. Dear God. Please forgive me. He's the man that started all this racist crap.
He did. I know it. He divided. He started the division. He started the division when he should have been the beacon for unity. It's just crazy stuff. Frank, I got to get one more call in before the 50, but thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, brother. Have a good day.
All right. Tom from Harding. Tom, you're always quick, so I snuck you in there, buddy.
Okie doke. You remember when the neocons in '96 said what we need is a new Pearl Harbor. I assume you remember that.
Yes.
Good. Have you read Judy Wood's book?
No.
Also Leonard Horowitz, Death in the Air. That'll explain. That was Will Thomas was the authority on chemtrails. I knew all about them in '95.
It's an interesting phenomenon. I mean, Tom, it's really interesting and scary to me. I don't understand it, but I want people to start questioning it.
The chemtrails are biological warfare practice, among other things. Mm-hmm. I was recruited by the CIA back when I was an undergraduate, and I was in SDS. I assume you know what that was.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I have a storehouse of information, to say the least.
Well, you call in we got to go now, but call in with any time. We have more time. I appreciate it.
Well, I'd rather talk to you personally sometime because this stuff is not airable.
All right, man. We got to go. Thank you. We'll be back. Kelly Clarkson, #1 hit this date, 2001. A moment like this. Bob Cordaro back with you. Reading through somebody, one of you great listeners brought my attention to a Times Leader article, and we're finishing, by the way, with Don McLean. He's 80 years old today, born in New Rochelle, New York, American Pie. He was born 1945 in New Rochelle, and it's a national anthem. It's that good. It's that great. But about this mailer, attacking this mailer that had been sent out, I don't know, there's something about Spotlight PA, and they're calling themselves a independent, nonpartisan, nonprofit newsroom. Not even close. That's who wrote the article. Katie Meyer, Spotlight PA. I'm wondering, oh my gosh. I'm wondering why the article's so biased. Spotlight PA is left-wing lunacy. It is. It's awful. And they're criticizing our state Supreme Court and the three fools I've told you about, Wecht, Donahue, and Doherty, that you have to vote no to get them out. They've been redistricting this state on their own illegally for 2 censuses. It's a horrible, horrible decision. They've voted against the state constitution repeatedly for a political outcome. And now the Times Leader doing a Spotlight PA. I thought it was one of their articles, and I was willing to say, okay. Man, if that's where they're getting their sources, dear Lord. Hey, let's get St. Teresa in here quickly. She said, when we touch the sick and needy, we touch the suffering body of Christ. Oh, amazing, amazing. Amen. I want to get one last call for a minute, but let's final mention of our veterans. Ronald Pickles Grohalski, Nanticoke. Richard Polak, Clarksville, Thomas Reese, Springbrook Township. God love them. And thanks to John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality for bringing them to us. Hey, let's quickly go to Frank from Old Fort. Frank, we've only got a few seconds. My apologies.
We got him. Bob, when you look outside, the crisscross of chemtrails reminds me of the Tholian web on Star Trek, where they webbed in the Enterprise, right?
Yes. And by the way, there are planes crisscrossing like that. A lot of people saying, "Oh, it's more plane traffic." I don't think so.
No. And the last thing is, you had the clip of Bill Maher and Charlie Kirk. I did not know that Isaac Newton wrote more about the scriptures than he did about his field of physics. Bob, that's mind-boggling. Charlie Kirk can never be replaced.
Isn't irreplaceable?
Yes.
Irreplaceable.
What an intellect.
Yep. I said, the more I've followed him since his passing,
yes,
he was an intellectual heavyweight that can't be replaced. Yep.
LTS, Bob.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Frank. Hey, we got to go. It's what is. Because I look at my Picardo Jewelers watch, it says 12 o'clock. You know what that means? Got to go. Got to gavel to a close this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. God willing, I'll be back with you tomorrow. Sue Henry Show next. Rob O'Donnell after that. But for now, we've got to gavel to a close. This meeting of the Club for Common Sense, there's never enough time. Have a great afternoon. Adios.